Teachers, thank you so much for proctoring the TSI exam on Tuesday, April 4th. I'm going to go over very quickly just some general information in case you've never given the TSI, or if you have, we only give it once a year. So if you're like me, you've probably forgotten exactly, what goes on and what the instructions are. So tomorrow when you report to your testing room, you're going to have a packet that looks like this. It's going to have a roster on the front, and then it's going to have all of the students' vouchers behind it. So when students come in, they're going to check in with you, they're going to get their voucher, and they're going to go to a computer. You're also going to have a set of student instructions. So you need one copy of this for every student in your class, so they get the voucher and they're going to get this. What I do when I proctor is I go ahead and I have these laying out on the keyboards in front of the computers. Then they pick up their voucher and they go to the computer and they read these instructions. The students are going to start to follow these instructions. They're going to sign into their computer using their student login. That's their PISD login. So if a student can't remember what it is, I always say, how do you log into the Wi-Fi? And normally they remember. If they don't, you are welcome to log in for them, but we really want to encourage them to use their login if at all possible. If it comes down to it and they don't know it, log in and let them get on the computer. They are going to be using Chrome. The system will not work correctly in Internet Explorer, so it does say access the internet using Chrome. They're going to go to the website, which is listed on the sheet, click on use voucher, and then they're going to enter in their information exactly as it appears on their voucher. So I believe it asks them for their student ID number. That is their social security number or their state ID number. It's not their PISD number, but it is on the voucher. I think it's their last name and their birth date, but all the information is on the top of the voucher. They're going to click submit, and they're going to wait, and it's going to bring them to a screen where I think it asks for a username and password. They will not be entering that, and you will not be entering that. That's something that I'll be starting those exams remotely from in here in the office. So once they get to that screen, they're just going to sit there and they're going to wait. Once most of your students are logged in, I'll go ahead and I'll start the exam remotely, and you'll see their screens start changing. It'll come up with, like you're ready to take the exam, and they have to go through a series of background questions. The thing that I must stress to you is I believe it's the first background question. It's either the first or second one, and it says something to the effect of, did you participate in a pre-assessment activity where you learned what TSI is, where you received prep materials, so on and so forth. They must answer yes to that question. The answer choices are yes and they are no, and they must answer yes. If they do not answer yes, it will kick them out of the system, and there will be nothing that we can do at that point because they've ended their testing session. So they must answer yes to that question. So once students get logged in, if you can talk to your testing group as a whole, it is written on their instruction sheet, but if you can just say that over and over and over and over again, please answer yes, please answer yes, please answer yes. Once they answer yes, they'll continue, and they've got questions that they answer, such as, level of education, how many math classes they've taken, how many English classes they've taken, their parents' highest level of education, things like that. So it's all these different background questions that they go through. Most of their personal information will be pre-populated into the system. They're welcome to change any of it if they want to, such as email address and things like that. But it is pre-populated into the system. Once they've gone through that, they will begin their exam. The only exam that students are taking tomorrow is the math exam. It should take them probably anywhere from an hour to 2.5 hours to finish it. The test is structured so that there's 20 questions, but depending how a student is doing, they could get additional questions. So you'll have some students that have 20 questions and they're done. You'll have other students who have 20 questions and then it'll throw them into another, 40 something questions. So if you see that, that's okay. If students are like, hey, what's going on? That's okay. These students are well aware of the test and the structure of their test. The teachers have been working with them all year long to prep them for this test. So hopefully the questions that the students have will be a minimum. But just so that you know, you could have students that are doing 20 questions. You could have students that are doing 48 questions. It really just depends on how the student is performing on the test and on those math problems. For teachers, you will have a list of TSI Proctor instructions. I'll put a copy of your box as well as attach it to an email. And so in here, it just goes over some general information with you. Once again, that must answering yes to that first background question of did they participate in a pre-assessment activity, they must answer yes. Some other things that you may want to know, it's just like if we were doing STAR testing or anything like that, students are not allowed to have anything with them, backpacks, purses, cell phones, all that that kind of stuff needs to be put at the front or the center of the room if you're in a computer lab. They are not allowed to have a calculator, an external calculator. There is a calculator built into the system, and it is only for certain questions, and that is the only calculator that they're allowed to use. They can have a sheet of scratch paper and something to write with, and so they're, I'll have scratch paper available for you, and so they are allowed to have scratch paper and a pencil or a pen, something to write with, to work those problems out if it's not a calculator type problem, or even if it is. They do have that option. When students leave, I need you to take their voucher from them and their scratch paper. We have to have both of those. I'll be shredding all of that, but we are required to collect all that information. They can't leave with the scratch paper. Let's see, what else? Once they complete the test, they are allowed to go to the auditorium, and so students who are completing the test, they'll go to the auditorium, and that's where they'll sit until it's time for them to go to lunch, or until it's time for them to go home, or if they have something else going on that day. And also remember to take attendance on your roster. You do have to put an A if they're absent. You have to actually write the A. And you do have to put a P if they're present. So actually write the P. And then the proctor will sign the bottom, and we'll be collecting those from you. That's pretty much it. My contact information is on the bottom of the sheet. So I'll be doing AP mock exams as well, and I'll be coming around to check on the TSI classrooms, but I'll make sure I have my cell phone with me. If you have a question, if something's going crazy in your testing group, please text me. Let me know what the problem is. Also, let me know who you are and what room you're in. And that way I can get to you quickly, or I can give you an answer on how to handle it. If you have any questions, please let me know. It's normally, once we get started, it's normally a pretty easygoing, testing thing. There's not a whole lot of things that go wrong, hopefully. So we'll have a session at 7:15, and then you'll have another group of kids that come in at 10:15 to take the exam. So that's pretty much it. Thank you again so much for helping on tomorrow as we get ready to take the TSI. We're testing close to 400 kids, so we're going to have a lot of kids coming in and out of those computer labs and testing for TSI and getting ready to go to college. Thanks, and have a great day.